With all due respect to your mom, she was wrong about your phone use. It's not the smartphone that's ruining your life, it's you. Sometimes we forget that a tool isn't just how we currently use it. If you use a hammer to hit a nail and keep smashing your finger, you can make adjustments. It doesn't have to destroy your hand while you're getting the job done. You could also use a hammer to dig shallow holes in the ground or split wood with the claw. Each tool has many possibilities if you approach it with an open mind. Your smartphone, which is widely seen as a vehicle for brain rot, can be used very differently. It doesn't have to be a distracting source of anxiety and depression. The smartphone can potentially strengthen your mind. It can also help us avoid anxiety and learn in a way that helps us pursue our deep aspirations. I know that most of us have written off all screen time as bad, and with how destructive the smartphone seems to have become, it's fair to wonder if productive phone use is even possible. Perhaps the nature of the device is fundamentally harmful, but if not, how can we use the phone for our betterment? And if there is a productive way forward with the smartphone, how can we use our experience with this tool to inform how we handle the latest new tool for humanity? To find a way forward, we must return to the beginning of smartphones, because back then, we had completely different feelings toward this new device that may not have been entirely naive. Think about the initial promise of the smartphone. What did you imagine it doing for you? What dreams did you have for this incredible innovation before you slipped into habits that slowly made you more miserable and potentially suffering from brain rot? Back in 1994, IBM released the IBM Simon. It sold poorly, likely due to its high price tag, but it was technically the first device you could call a smartphone. The first popular smartphone was released in 1999, and if you're confused by this statement, it's because you've forgotten all about the BlackBerry. It was a business-focused device whose main appeal was its ability to email and its novel messaging system. It was still a phone that was almost entirely focused on communication. What we think of when we talk about the negative side effects of smartphones didn't come around until almost a decade later. The first iPhone was released in 2007, followed shortly by the first Android phone in 2008. This was an innocent and exciting time compared to where we are now. Most of us were simply enthusiastic about the possibilities of a computer the size of a calculator that could fit neatly in our pocket. Those early smartphones came with web browsers, games, and apps with endless potential. It was hard not to feel like these devices could make life much more convenient. Google Maps could be used to guide you to your destination. You could send emails while grabbing a coffee. You were set free from the shackles of desktop and laptop computers. Your life was suddenly much more flexible, and you could communicate with others more conveniently than ever. You could text with a full digital keyboard and message someone with various different apps. News articles became more accessible, and they were suddenly at your fingertips while you spent too long in the bathroom. The smartphone was actually able to reduce anxiety. You didn't have to worry about getting lost on the road. If you couldn't find the exact meetup spot, you could text a friend a pin of your exact location. You still benefit from all of these innovations today. Forgot to print your essay? In recent years, you have been able to use printers in the library or local business center by connecting your mobile device and printing it from the cloud. On the flip side, you no longer need to worry about printing your boarding passes or concert tickets. The only pass you need is your phone's virtual wallet. Whenever you leave the house, you're probably only carrying your phone, wallet, and keys, with the latter two already unnecessary for some. Your smartphone can be used to pay from your bank account, and you can also control your smart locks, provided that your home has them installed, of course. With their earlier generations, the possibilities of how smartphones could improve your life seemed endless. They were brimming with the potential to save you time and worry. But these weren't the only types of applications you could download on your phone. Smartphones also ushered in the age of mobile gaming. They were a fun way to fill your time while waiting for the bus or an appointment. These were generally not very deep gaming experiences like you would find on a console or PC, but rather easy to understand bites of amusement for when you were avoiding having to smell the breath of the passengers sitting next to you. In 2008, Facebook launched an app that allowed users to connect to their social media accounts from outside the house, or more commonly, in bed. Bad habits formed. An unguarded population enjoyed the convenience of access to social media, games, and other apps. Attention spans declined, and every form of human discourse changed to fit the mold of what succeeded on social media in generating positive or negative attention. We are now in a place where most are dissatisfied with how smartphones have changed their lives. Everyone is hyper addicted to their device and absolutely miserable as a result. Political discourse is a nightmare, and we all feel more insecure while sharing our lives in great detail. Those who are successful on social media feel the pressure to maintain their profile. They fear that a lack of content or posting the wrong thing will lead to their social decline and misery. People who are not good at generating positive feedback are constantly insecure with their online presence, feeling inferior to friends who can manage the perfect vacation photo every 2 to 3 days. How often are they going on vacation? It's all so maddening. Our smartphones are the ever-present gateway to social media, and the two have become synonymous with each other. We can barely think anymore from checking our phones every 5 seconds. After a brief moment of idleness, you feel the itch to look at another update of some kind, chasing dopamine and avoiding being alone with your thoughts. It's one thing to suggest doing something drastic like switching to a dumb phone or living off the grid. It's another for almost anyone to actually commit to those options. The reality is that we will not give up smartphones in any significant capacity. Our social and professional lives are too intertwined with them to disconnect. As much as we hate what smartphones have done to us, it's still a very convenient way to connect with people you care about. It's a great way to stay up to date on acquaintances or receive information about someone you know. It's also made leaving the house less stressful. We have a virtual assistant in our pockets. We live in a global community now, and for many reasons, we don't want to turn back. We're hooked in, and resistance is perhaps futile. So how exactly do we get out of this nightmare? For a while now, medical professionals have been concerned about the notion of screen time. This is especially relevant when we consider children. Too much screen time can have a negative effect on the developing brain. It can cause problems with speech, concentration, and the ability to comprehend language. Screen time can literally reduce the gray matter in a child's brain. Gray matter atrophy occurs in the frontal lobe, which is known for executing functions such as organizing, planning, impulse control, and prioritizing. Screen time can also reduce gray matter in the striatum, which is involved in suppressing socially unacceptable impulses and reward pathways. In adolescence, social media can regularly trigger anxiety and depression. It too is rewiring brains in ways we don't fully understand but are cause for great concern. In-person conversation is important for reducing stress and releasing feel-good chemicals into the brain. When adolescents are on social media too much, they're not physically meeting with others or engaging with their families. They miss out on the important benefits of in-person communication. For adults, too much screen time is also linked to anxiety and depression. The only difference is that our brains are no longer developing, so we don't have to worry about it shaping our brains quite so drastically. I've covered screen time in numerous videos, especially the ones about brain rot. One question that has not been answered satisfactorily is whether all screen time affects us the same way. From your own experience, you've probably noticed that reading an informative article isn't having the same effect on you as scrolling your feed on TikTok. You feel different during and after each respective experience. The obvious conclusion is that screen time itself is not giving you brain rot. It's not the screen giving adolescents unprecedented rates of anxiety. It's what you do with the screen. It's how you interact with apps or how you respond to notifications. It's how you are using that tool, not the tool itself. If we think back to how we first felt about smartphones in the 1990s, we can borrow inspiration to reorient the relationship with the device. Back then, we were focused on its potential utility, not how it allowed us to doom scroll nonsense into the early hours of the morning. We know from experience that some applications and functions have had negative consequences, but many still seem very useful and unproblematic. However, it isn't easy to pinpoint which applications caused which terrible feeling. After we put down the phone, we're often left in a haze, carrying vague negative feelings into whatever we're doing next.